about today's one.
What?
Doing it in the daytime.
You know we're recording, right?
Yeah.
Doing it in the daytime, guys. Yeah, you might notice from our lighting that we're doing this at a godly hour today.
Natural light.
Natural light. That is because we've got an early start tomorrow, which, to be honest, by my standards would be early anyway, even under non-lockdown rules. Basically, because of my fibro, I am better. Some people find different things with fibro, but for me personally, I'm at my sort of most painful, most fatigued, most sort of sore first thing in the day, and I gradually sort of loosen up and get less painful throughout the day.
You've got this.
So I basically created a business and created opening hours that suited that, so I never have to be in work before 11. I never schedule meetings for before 11, ideally later, and kind of go. I don't know where he's gone, by the way. But yeah, we've got to be up. Well, we've got to be leaving tomorrow morning at 8, which is ungodly. But especially the fact that I don't think I've been up. Well, today I set myself the target of being up at 10. That did not happen. I think I knew that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, from about 11 onwards, I was actually awake but still in bed and got out of bed about noon.
The few times I've accidentally sort of woken up that early and not been able to get back to sleep, I've suddenly hit a wall and got very tired in the afternoon. So I might be quite grouchy, but...
Well, we should be finished canoeing by about 4. So actually... If you can make it through till about 4, you can come home and have a nap or whatever, maybe while I'm in the bath before we vlog. But yeah, so tomorrow morning we've got an early start for canoeing.
I'm not so worried about the early start, though.
I am.
I mean, I am worried about the early start, obviously. But also, during lockdown, like, I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but my digestive system
no, don't.
has fallen into sort of a pattern whereby, you know, you do your
I don't think
morning
we need
business.
to be talking about this on the blog, do
saying,
we?
Right, I'm going to get to like the canal and my body, or the river, and my body's going to go, right, it's time to
use the facilities.
And I'm going to go, no, I'm in a canoe.
I think they're 2-man canoes that I'll be sharing with you, so you definitely cannot use the canoe. Maybe we'll have to take some blue roll with us. You'll have to find a bush. That's glamorous.
I am not joking. I think that is a good idea.
Well, that's fine. We can take some loo roll. Glamorous. Yeah, because obviously we've checked with the company, because I'm very keen to sort of do something outdoorsy, but then obviously I was like, well, how is this going to be sort of COVID safe? Like, it's outdoors, which is a good thing. Basically, they're quite reassuring on their website of all of the sort of measures in place to make it okay. I think technically we are travelling further once we get in the boat. We're probably more than 5 miles away, but it's by river, and as the crow flies, and so your canoe can't break down, but also it'll all be under the supervision of this canoeing company. Reassured that that's all sort of COVID safe, and we're not travelling far. And all of that jazz. We're quite reassured by that, and it will be really nice to just do something that's out of the house and out of the norm. Not that canoeing was a big part of my life before. I have been canoeing many years ago on a holiday in Canada, which was lush. It was really nice. But yeah, don't really know what to expect, but it'll be so nice to have a day out. But yes, after months of not really being up before noon, I think it's going to sting. If anything, I'm hoping it's going to be so early and so out of my sort of normal sleep pattern that you'll go into kind of holiday like mode where you're just able to power through because you've got to be up to be at the airport kind of thing. But yeah, I suspect I'm not going to be at my best. But I'm sure once we're like there and doing it, it will be lovely. But yeah, bit into it. So we're doing this in the daytime today, so that basically after this I can go straight into kind of winding down mode, have a nice long bath, get into bed quite early, I think, so I can be on my phone playing some games and stuff on my phone, but in bed, so that hopefully I can actually drift off. But we'll see. Because I know I've got to be up in the morning, I will probably not be able to sleep. that's probably how that's going to go. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, it's only one day and we can come home and sleep afterwards. But yeah, it's going to be fun, I think. Hopefully the weather's all right. It's been a bit drizzly and grim today, which will be a bit miserable on a boat, but I guess we'll see. it would have been great if it had been the last few weeks that have been glorious. I'd have actually actively been wanting to go in the river, I think, because it's been so hot. But yeah, it would be nice if it's a bit sunny tomorrow, but yeah, a bit grim.
It's been, very up and down. I'm not really sure what the correct dress is.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think I'm going to go for layers so that I can strip off if necessary.
In the canoe and you want to strip off, what do you do with those layers?
Chuck them in my backpack.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't really know, but I'll have my backpack on my back, so if I can take a t-shirt off and pass it to you, maybe you can put it in my backpack, or whichever one of us is in front and behind. But yeah, so we'll have more to report on how that goes tomorrow. But yeah, expect a very tired Ellie tomorrow.
I'm yawning now, I'm getting tired just thinking about it. Do you ever get that? I find myself getting tired just anticipating the thing I need to do. Or how early I have to get up, rather than actually from the thing itself.
Yeah.
After the thing, you get a second wind of like, oh, it's done, brilliant.
I do not get a second wind.
Excuse me, I do sometimes. I'm like, it's done, cool. I can just,
I can blame that on the old fibro, but yeah, to be honest, I often don't have a first wind, let alone a second one. But yeah, so that's something nice that we're up to tomorrow. So yeah, what I've been up to today, because I did force myself out of bed. I set my first alarm for 10 and just snoozed it till 11, which was not the game, but I was kind of kidding myself that like, oh, well, I'm sort of awake, I'm just dozing. No, I'm asleep. But then, yeah, so on Tuesday, it is my turn again to host the virtual pub quiz that we're still at every week. So I realised sort of with some horror last night, when am I going to write it? Because I'm canoeing all day Sunday and it's birthday all day Monday, and I don't want to be writing a quiz on my birthday. And I'm probably going to be feeling fairly wretched on Tuesday. So I sat down and actually hashed that out today. I'm quite pleased with it. So yeah, if any of you are people who know us and want to get in on that, let me know. It's just a WhatsApp group and you can get in on that.
Join the quiz, why not?
Join the quiz, get in on it. But I will need to have your mobile numbers in order to invite you to the group. But maybe just send me a private message.
Now we get into it. Data fishing.
Yeah, data mining. That's what this has all been for. We started this 85 days ago just so that I could mine your data.
We'll do a vlog about our lives for 85 days.
And then we'll
make up a quiz.
But yeah, so quite a few of us still play that. We've lost a few numbers, I think. Everybody got a bit quiz fatigued. I think there were lots of quizzes going on. Because that's something that you can sort of do from home as a group. And I think some people really went in it wholeheartedly early on in lockdown and have got a bit fed up. But actually, there's still
more quizzes in a month than they normally would have done in a year.
Yeah, but there's still actually quite a few of us still in there. I'm quite pleased with my quiz. I think last time the consensus on mine was that it was a bit too hard, which I don't think it was ridiculous. But it's hard to judge it because obviously you know what the answers are. You don't know how common knowledge those are, so it's hard to judge, like, is that obvious or is that hard. I think I've got a better balance on that. I've tried to be quite broad, so I've got like a general knowledge round, but where there's like a hint that'll help you. So it's like if the first answer say like starts with A, the next one will be B and C, so if you're not sure you can maybe make a guess based on what letter you think it is, which I think helps because my general knowledge is fairly shocking actually. I have not got any geography rounds because I hate geography. I never know any answers in geography rounds, so there's no geography rounds. I'm quite pleased with my connections round. Feeling quite smug about that one. So yeah, that's basically, there'll be 4 questions and then there's you get extra points for if you work out what the connection between all those answers is. Quite pleased with that. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing on Tuesday. So the only round I haven't made yet is the picture round, but that Google image search is your friend, so I can put that together quite quickly, I think. So I might do that today before I bath, so it's all done, and then I can just basically be an entire wreck of a human all day Tuesday until 8 p.m. when quiz time is.
Good to have a dream.
I'm planning for feeling terrible, basically. But the day after my birthday is fine. Like, I'm hoping that on my birthday I'll be able to power through. I expect I will be a bit stiff and a bit tired, but if I don't have to get up, I'll probably be able to go to bed quite early because I'll be shattered from canoeing, which actually might mean I have a bit of a more sensible time to get up. But I guess if I sleep till noon, it doesn't really matter, does it? Just get up whenever. Living the dream. So we're going to blog quite early on Tuesday. So this is obviously the blog that will come out on Wednesday at 10.
We're vlog quite early on the Monday as well, aren't we?
Why is that?
Because it's your birthday vlog.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Sorry, yes, on my birthday, yeah. So it'll be the one. That comes out on Tuesday morning at 10. But we will have filmed it quite early in the day on my birthday, just so that it's done and we can then just enjoy the rest of the day. So
but it'll be,
Tuesdays.
We'll have you opening some presents. It'll be a bit of a birthday vlog, a bit of a special.
Yeah. I don't really know what we're gonna do because I don't know what any of the stuff is. But yeah, do a bit of maybe not. Like just watching me open cards is probably a bit boring, but like one or two bits that look interesting. I've got a big box that someone has sent that is weirdly light. I'm wondering if it must maybe be like a cuddly toy or something, because it's just it's very light.
I was thinking a balloon, but the trouble is that would slowly deflate, wouldn't it? It'd be nice if you got a big box and you opened it and like a helium balloon.
Yeah, I guess it could be a helium balloon.
The trouble is if you didn't.
But yeah, because they last a while, don't they?
I don't know.
I don't think they go. You get them for a week or two if left to their own devices. It could be a helium balloon. I don't know. But so there's one that's really light, and I don't know who that's from. I assume there'll be a. It doesn't actually say don't open until the 15th, but it's clearly from Moonpig, and it came a few days before my birthday. So I'm putting two and two together. And obviously, because it's lockdown, and I'm not actually going to see a lot of people, I am not going to have many things to open. So I'm preserving them all. So I haven't even opened any cards. I normally open cards early so I can put them up, but actually I'm saving everything for the day. So that's going to be a bit of that on. Filmed on Monday, but it'll come out on Tuesday. Birthday blog. But yeah, I don't know what to expect there, but I don't know. Read the blurb and you'll find out, because I don't know yet. Chris knows, but it would be a bit shit if he told me, because then I'd know. I'm right here.
Birthday surprises. Have to remain surprises.
Yes, I'm all for surprises. I don't like to know what I'm getting. I like surprises. But yes, that's the plan for Monday. So yeah, we'll probably film the vlog after the quiz on Tuesday, I would have thought, so I can just sleep all day. But also today we had visitors in the garden. We had fish and chips in the garden. Well, I didn't have fish. I had chips in the garden with some friends, which was lovely. So that was our friends Phil and Alison. So I promised Phil. Shout out to Phil. There you go, Phil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Phil.
They came over and sort of sat in the garden. It was lovely. Really, really nice to just be with other people.
Socially distanced. Fish supper, didn't we?
Yeah, it did try to drizzle on us, which thankfully it didn't come to much, because that would have been a bit. It would have sort of cut everything short a bit, which would have been a bit grim. It did drizzle a bit, but didn't.
Tricky, isn't it? Especially when you're having food and things. It is tricky, and it's with Welsh weather being what it is.
Yeah.
That's the only thing with these garden visits, is they're not. Going forward, we don't always know how reliable they're going to be. We've been quite lucky so far.
I guess we need a tarp, because we could put like a tarp over the washing line, because I got one of those like triangular washing lines, so then two people could have sort of hunker down under that on a chair, and us two could sort of sit in the conservatory
and laugh at them.
Yeah. Well, they're not allowed in the house. It's only fair.
It's the rules. Trying to follow the rules, guys.
So yeah, but yeah, thankfully it didn't come to much. Thank God it didn't rain like it rained yesterday, because that was bonkers rain. That was like apocalyptic.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I got kind of caught, not quite in that. I'd gone to the shop, and it kind of hit its most torrential peak when I was in the shop, so I missed that. I sort of saw
you'd already made it there, because you did look quite drowned ratish when you came back.
Yeah, well, that water is still quite heavy by the time I got home, and my raincoat is not good. So
no, fine for a bit of light drizzle, but that's not really like it's gonna. It's like just sort of it's that like stuff that like tents are made out of. But like if it's got contact with your skin, it just sticks to your skin, and then the moisture.
Happens with rain, isn't it?
The moisture
tents, can. So what apparently I've been told what I need is one of those like puffy ones with the kind of ridges. Yeah. And those are good, because the other thing is my raincoat gets wet and it smells of damp, and you're like, well, that's not ideal.
Yeah, you need a better one, really.
I do, but it's not in the budget right now, because we're not going out, so who needs a raincoat at all?
Yeah. But, well, they say also that you shouldn't really, because I used to obviously I don't buy leather now, but if I already owned leather things before I went vegan, I figure, well, that cow is already dead. So yeah, I won't buy leather. I won't fund the leather trade. But if it was in a charity shop, I would potentially buy, like, I've bought a leather handbag and stuff, because again, I'm not funding the industry. Leather, although they say not to wear it in the rain because it's bad for the leather, they make really good raincoats because it's not permeable. I think the reason that they say to do that is because it's bad for the leather. It will gradually, like, degrade. But if you just put some leather polish on it, it's all right. But yeah, they're pricey as well. But yeah, I don't really have a good raincoat anymore. But I haven't needed coats for the last 3 months, really, so it's fine. But yeah, it is bloody typical, though, that we had absolutely scorching sunny weather, and as soon as we're actually allowed to mix with other people in gardens, rain.
Yeah.
Fucking rain. But yeah, you know, could be a lot worse. And it is, honestly, it's such a small thing in terms of the relaxing of the lockdown measures, but it makes such a big difference knowing that you can see your friends if you want to. Like, admittedly, only one household at a time, so I couldn't see all of my friends. If it was like up to 6 people, for example, I would have like 5 of my friends come over and hang out in the garden, maybe for my birthday, but I could only do that with one of them at a time, whereas the English rules are up to 6 people outdoors. So actually in England I would have been able to have all the... It does actually make sense, I think, the households rule, because 6 people from 6 households who may have housemates who are also mixing with 6 people from 6 other households, it's kind of a chain that you want to keep the chains as short as possible. It
starts to get out of hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, so but yeah, so it's so lovely being able to have, like, to see other people and talk to them and just be face to face, and just, it's socializing in a way that that like video calling and stuff doesn't quite cut it.
No.
It's better than nothing, but it's still artificial and feels a little bit awkward and forced. And I think it really does boil down to sort of like, you can't just sort of be with, like, you can't, like, have a silence where you're just in thought. The Zoom chats, you're kind of, oh, is it my turn to talk now? Oh, I better say something, and and you just kind of, yeah. So, and people, there's lag, so you end up talking over people. And go, oh, sorry, oh, the sound cuts out. I'm sorry, what did you say? And it's just a bit draining in terms of sort of social contact. It's better than nothing. Like, it is nice, but at the same time, doesn't quite cut it. But yeah, so nice having real people.
I wanted to talk today about the best wrestling match ever.
That's quite a claim.
It is quite a claim. That is what they've advertised as happening tonight.
How do they know?
Backlash, WWE Backlash pay-per-view. They are. They pre-filmed it, which helps.
I don't know much about wrestling, but I suspect none of the matches that happened during lockdown are going to be the best matches of all time.
I suspect likewise, and I've watched quite a few of them. I mean, there've been some...
I've watched more wrestling since lockdown than I ever had before.
And it's not as good.
It's weird.
You should have seen some of it before. I mean, there have been some matches that have been good, and, you know, and if the performers are good enough, you can still get something out of it. But
I do find it quite intriguing.
Some of the best stuff...
Some of it's good.
Some of the best stuff has been on AEW that you wouldn't have seen. And what they've done is they've kind of had performers around the ring, kind of playing still as their in-ring characters, but like
adding to the atmosphere.
Gives a bit of atmosphere.
Yeah, I've seen clips.
Can interact with them.
The one evening you had it on, but I was quite tired, so I watched a bit, but then I went to bed. So but actually, even just at a glance, I did sort of say I noticed a difference stylistically between the two, and I definitely think because AEW appears to be doing more of what I thought I would see, because before actually either of us had seen any of these empty arena matches. I thought, oh, well, this is brilliant. You can take advantage of the fact that you're not really being observed in the round to pull off some moves that you like. I did a bit of stage combat in uni, and all of those tend to boil down to angles, which obviously if you're in the round you can't do, because certain people will be able to see that that's not landing at all, but it looks good from behind or whatever. Well, I thought, well, because it's only going to be for camera, and there aren't going to be people in the round, you could really make it super slick and pull off some really cool moves that you can't under normal circumstances do. But they didn't seem to take it. It seems to be basically the same as it would normally be. Whereas AEW, I noticed, the fighting seems faster and slicker and looks more real. which I think that matters to me, that like, because I find it distracting when you're noticing that just doesn't look
I think I
authentic.
could show you some good fast NXT tag matches, for example, that you'd probably quite enjoy, but yeah, I think they do have a different house style in NXT, particularly compared to the main roster of WWE. It tends to be a lot slower.
What WWE is or NXT
WWE
is.
tends to be slower. Like the main roster, like Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views tend to be a bit slower, because they want to kind of make the story very clear and obvious and things. So,
which I'm all about story, but yeah, I think it's just I find it distracting when somebody's doing some sort of move and the person who is sort of being beaten up looks very cooperative.
And I think,
and I understand why that has to happen, because you do have to cooperate, otherwise people could get genuinely hurt. But like, I wish they would fake it a bit better.
I think sometimes when there's a crowd there and there's a great atmosphere, I think certainly, at least for me, it helps with the kind of willing suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, I think that probably
to kind of
would
just buy into it more when the crowd are into it, and it's like
when it's silent and you can sort of, because actually there was a match in WrestleMania, I think it was, which was the what are they called, Kabuki Warriors, because they're quite shouty and very heightened and very dramatic. I found that was good because it covered these sort of like, because they sort of, when someone's being like picked up to be thrown down in some sort of those moves do look good once they're done, but they're like, you're looking very willing to be picked up there. You're not really resisting, and you're not sort of like looking like you're really, like, you just kind of,
the thing about,
I'll just put my arm over here and there we go, and it's sort of, I find it a bit,
the thing about wrestling,
it's just repeated reminders, so it breaks the illusion, which then I'm sort of distracted. I do genuinely quite enjoy watching it. It's fascinating, but it's just little things that I find a bit distracting.
Because obviously the thing about wrestling is it is supposed to be performative, and it is supposed to be entertaining, and they do try to a point to make it look realistic, but obviously if you realistically wanted to just beat someone up, you'd do what UFC fighters do. Do you know what I mean? And they kind of pound each other into the ground, and they kind of get each other in choke locks and things. And it's just, for me, that is not as fun to watch as someone doing a moonsault off the top rope sometimes.
Oh, because some of the jumps and things are very impressive. And
so there is a degree of sort of going where you have to go like, that is not the most realistic thing, but you kind of allow for it.
Yeah.
But you're right, it does go too far sometimes, where you're like, this feels a bit too cooperative, it's a bit obvious.
It's getting the balance right, because I think I'm quite forgiving for a lot of it, but just at times when I might be quite absorbed in the story, and then I'm just finding moments of, that just looks a little bit too,
there's a move
like coordinated with each other when you're supposed to be fighting, and just I think there are ways it would be difficult to do, particularly when the matches are planned and turned around so quickly, because you don't necessarily know exactly what moves you're doing. It's not like the whole thing is rehearsed. It will just be sort of like, ultimately these are the sort of main points that we need to get across, and then you're kind of improvising it, and there's like a shorthand to what you're doing. But like, there's some bits of it I'm just like, I wish you just looked a little bit, either like you're being more resistant, or like there's a bit more tension that you're like, because sometimes the sort of pulling punches look a bit too pulled. And
there's a move called the Canadian Destroyer.
Right.
And
good name.
It's it's kind of a type of pile driver, and but you kind of jump sort of over the person and then sort of pull them over, and like a somersault, and then they land on their head. And when it is done well, it looks fast and impactful and devastating and impressive.
Yeah.
But if it is done just a bit too slowly, it suddenly looks really
like
cooperative.
Two people doing a forward roll together.
Yeah. Like, guys.
I think that's it. Like, when it's done well, it's brilliant. But just if there are only minor changes, but they can make all the difference. And I think just from the bits that I've seen, I think I have preferred the house style of AEW overall, but I don't know how good their storytelling is, because I haven't been embroiled in any of it. I've just sort of been watching it at a casual glance. But also, having the sort of artificial atmosphere provided by people at ringside makes a big difference.
So the reason we were talking about wrestling, though, is that there's a WWE pay-per-view on tonight. Normally I'd be excitedly waiting up to watch that.
Not when you've got to be up at 7.
I've got to go and do rowing, so...
To be fair, though, actually, you probably have watched late-night pay-per-views and then gone to work the next day, but...
I don't know. I've probably stayed up Maybe I've stayed up for like the first hour or so.
Right.
And then I don't think I've stayed up till one that goes on to like 4 a.m.
Right,
and then
okay,
got to
yeah,
work the next day. I hope it doesn't go until 4 a.m. That's in this empty arena era. 4 hours is too long for a pay-per-view. But anyway, that's by the by. Basically, they're advertising the main event of this pay-per-view. The main selling point of this pay-per-view is a match between Edge and Randy Orton,
right.
that they are billing as the greatest wrestling match ever.
Edge, the name of the guy in U2?
Yes, but it's a different one.
I assumed it wasn't him.
I'll give you another example, Ellie. When I was at school, there were 3 boys in my class called Chris. So
I don't think that's the same
sometimes
thing.
just people have the same name. It's there's only so many names to go around.
Edge isn't a name that a real person has, though, is it? Like.
Oh, so
it's
you're
a
telling me
nickname.
now that the guitarist in U2 isn't a real person?
Yes.
Then who's doing all that guitar playing? Think about it, Ellie. So,
what was I thinking?
Edge and Randy Orton.
So he's not the Edge, he's Edge.
Edge.
Oh, there we go, that's different.
And it's been billed as the greatest wrestling match of all time. Now,
Bold.
I mean, both of these guys are good wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
They are. But Edge retired with a neck injury like something like 12 years ago now.
Right, okay.
He's been medically cleared now. He returned for the Royal Rumble in January.
Right.
So that's a match we got like 30 guys coming in turn, and then they're all fighting, trying to tip each other over the top rope. So he competed in that for like about 5 minutes, I think, maybe more. And he looked really good. Everyone was really excited. There was still a crowd then. It was amazing. It was genuinely just a brilliant bit of wrestling television, that Royal Rumble. You saw that, didn't you? We watched that.
Yeah,
That was all my Brock Lesnar was really dominating.
I can't remember it.
Remember, so Brock Lesnar was the first guy in, and he was just checking everyone out one by one over the top. Okay, never mind.
If you say so.
Never mind. Anyway,
I was trying my best.
No, it's fine.
But also, January might as well have been decades ago.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
We'll move on. So.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. We'll move. So anyway, so he was in that.
Yeah.
And he looked really good. And then he was in a match at WrestleMania that was kind of like pre-taped, and it was like a brawl around the arena. So it wasn't all in the ring.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
no
I remember him. I remember that one. Yeah,
so
yeah.
That went on
I liked that one.
But that was like lots of walking.
It was on top of the truck.
Yes,
again.
and
Right,
lots of walking and punching and dragging and like. So
I enjoyed that. I think I enjoyed the cinematic ones
a
bit more.
I actually got a lot of backlash for that match. People weren't very impressed.
Oh, really?
A lot of people said it was a bit slow and drag. I actually enjoyed it as well.
I was quite absorbed by that one. It felt tense.
Yeah, I really right up
and
to the end.
Building.
I was like, oh, who's going to win? Where's this going? So he hasn't done a proper like live full bell to bell wrestling match.
Right.
In like over a decade at this point.
And the other dude?
As good as he was and hopefully still is. The other guy is Randy Orton. He's been with the company a long time. He's been wrestling like consistently. He is a very sound, very safe wrestler, very technically able wrestler. But he's also usually plays a heel. And he's got very kind of slow.
Heels, if you don't know, because I didn't, are the baddies. And good guys are baby faces.
Yep.
Don't know why.
So
Nobody seems to be able to answer this for me either.
He's got a very like slow, methodical style, known for sort of chin locks and headlocks and things, and just like keep growing. Because you know the idea is like the babyface does all like the flashy offense, and then the heel will like cut him down, grind him down and kind of cut him off and slow things down, and then the crowd get annoyed because they want to see the flashy babyface and they get annoyed at the heel. Right. So he's very much in that style of heel, which is fine, but like he's now at the point where like it's almost like the art of wrestling has moved past him a bit to the point where people are going, even the heels, come on, you got to speed it up a little bit. Come on,
doing a bit more flash.
So the fact that these guys have been building a match that's called the greatest wrestling match of all time is
like that's setting yourself a goal that
it's really bold,
hard
especially
to
in this empty arena era, because as we've discussed, it's just not as entertaining, it's not as immersive without the crowd there. It's hard to kind of really. And it's
I feel they might have oversold that.
Yeah, it's troubling. But
I won't be watching it tonight, but I'm assuming you will probably be watching it tomorrow.
I might be watching it
tomorrow night
while you're asleep from canoeing, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think I should mention. Yeah, the reason I have all these bars is because the warm water sort of helps with fibro pain. Yes. So I imagine I will probably be having about a 2-hour bath immediately after canoeing. So you can watch wrestling then.
Yeah, so that's gonna be good. But the reason I bring it up anyway today on the programme is I found out a thing today about why they're billing it as the greatest wrestling match ever. I say I found out. This is something that someone on a podcast said.
Right.
It might not be true.
But
it rings
a theory,
true.
Right, yeah.
And the reason it's been suggested they're doing this is search engine optimization.
Right.
Because, for example, AEW had a tag match a couple of months ago. Well, before this kicked off.
Oh, so that their match is the one.
Greatest, not billed as, but like has subsequently
renowned
called.
As, so they want to just
the greatest tag team match of all time.
Yeah, that
so
sounds...
it's like if you call your thing and you heavily promote it, and there's lots of media and merchandising, the greatest wrestling match of all time. Then when people type that into Google, they get a WWE thing. They don't get AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That sounds true.
And that is a trick that our Prime Minister has pulled.
With our world-beating test and trace systems.
Well, when he...
the bus.
The buses. When he's claimed that his hobby was painting buses, and then you go...
Making buses out of old boxes, just so that you don't get the NHS lie.
Yeah, so...
I don't think it worked though, did it?
Well, I don't know. If you put Boris Johnson's
buses
into Google...
He did it again with something else recently.
He did, I can't remember
what the other one was.
I want to see the buses. If he's really...
Yeah, show us your buses, Boris.
Picture it didn't happen, Boris.
Yeah, that's absolute bullshit. And it sounded like the ramblings of a madman.
Get your buses out for the lads.
But yeah, he said recently that he has never told a lie in his political career. It's just like the gall of this man. Like the number of... You've been fired for lying. Like... Shut up. I don't think I genuinely don't think he knows how to tell the truth.
I know someone who's doing vaccination trials for the COVID-19 vaccinations.
Yeah, that's exciting. So I guess with that it's early days, but I'm assuming there's some people get a placebo and some. But does that mean they will then deliberately expose them to COVID and see if they get it?
I don't know exactly what happens with it. She will either be given new COVID vaccine or an existing meningitis vaccine.
Right.
So that's kind of the placebo.
Right.
But so she doesn't know which. But then the key interesting point from what she said about this that I thought was worth mentioning is that she's then going to have a COVID test every week for 52 weeks.
All right.
So the point that she made is when you see Matt Hancock on the news saying, we have done this many tests, don't think that is that many people being tested.
No, it's not.
Because 52 of those will be the same person.
Yeah.
And
they already have proven that they've bullshitted highly on the tests, the number of tests, because... I think I've mentioned this before, all of the postal ones that got sent out are actually two swabs, one that goes towards the back of your throat and the other one that goes up your nose, and then you put them in a test tube and post them back off. They will be counted as two tests carried out, even though it's only one person, and so they're not doing tests by number of patients. But the thing is, that's actually quite dangerous because it makes the statistics look like the actual virus is a lot less contagious than it is, because if you say we've done 100,000 tests and have only had 30,000 positive results, the 30,000 positive results, they're not doubling up those. So it's falsifying the information. So it's actually you've got to do them both by the same standard, either number of patients who have because they're doing number of patients who've tested positive, but number of tests carried out, cleverly making it seem like they've done more tested more people than they have. But they got absolutely rinsed by the UK statistics regulator for basically intentionally misleading the public on how it's going. But it's quite dangerous because other countries were trying to sort of handle this as the world. Like scientists everywhere are working on this, and they have to rely on the data that's coming out of different countries. And we're essentially lying to the rest of the world. Thankfully, there are scientists who are looking at the small print and going, okay, can you actually give us this data that we're specific? How many patients is that then?
Hang on. So so they're basically going, there's two swabs for each person, and they're counting that as two tests, even though it only gives one conclusive result. Yeah. That's the equivalent as if someone went, well, I've got 12 GCSEs at A to C grade, and someone else went, oh well, I actually took 25 GCSE exams and I got A to C in all of them, and you go, wow, that you must be really smart. But it turns out they're just saying No, I'm counting my practical
Yeah.
and my...
I had 4 different maths exams.
And my written exam was a different exam, and then I'm counting my French speaking,
yeah, so the one person is sort of saying, I've got 12 GCSE certificates, and somebody else is saying how many exams they took, but there were several exams for the same subject. Yeah, like, it's basically, it's bullshitting. And it's deliberate, and it's not on.
And people aren't even that impressed by GCSEs, so cut it out.
But yeah, so it's the level of bullshit this government will stoop to is, it's almost impressive. Like, they've got no shame. I'm baffled at how they sleep at night, but there we are. The blissful slumber of a sociopath, I imagine. They don't give a shit.
That does sound blissful. Maybe I'll be one.
I don't think you can, Babs.
What?
I think
sick of this discrimination.
You got too many feels.
What? I don't want to feel things anymore.
Oh, you're such a soppy boy. It's lovely.
You're a soppy boy, shut up.
All right. So I think we'll call it a day there then, shall we, folks?
Yeah, I'm going to go and look at these cats some more.
Yeah, you've noticed his eyes have been wandering the last 5 minutes. Cats have been wandering about.
Sort of ignore us most of the day, and then they get cute and distracting when we try and film anything.
They're always cute and distracting.
Yes, true.
Right, okay, guys. We're going to head off. Like and subscribe. Maybe give us a share. There is no shame in it.
No shame in it.